Good morning. Don Neary here. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning on a beautiful Maine morning on Friday. And I wanted to do something a little different here. We're going to talk about dad jokes. Something which I'm quite fond of perpetrating on my children and anybody who will listen, really. And told a few dad jokes to people in my car when I'm driving Uber, and always gets a groan. That's the purpose of a dad joke, is to get a groan, and they work pretty good, But I don't know if you realize it or not, but down in 2019, dad joke had the honor of getting to be an official entry in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Actually saw it on the news. I was quite proud of that, to have something that I perpetrate on people to be incorporated into the lexicon, But here it is. It's called an informal. The word or the phrase is informal. It's a wholesome joke of the type said to be told by fathers with a punchline that is often an obvious or predictable pun or play on words, and usually judged to be endearingly corny or unfunny. Now that hurts a little bit to say it's unfunny. And he refers to this fellow named Austin, I guess, who got this into the dictionary. He's seen the event grow from an Austin oddity to a national event and watched dad jokes, of which puns are the most obvious example, take hold in the millennial consciousness. A dad joke devoted Reddit board boasts of more than 250,000 members. Peter Rubin, the dad jokes really started pouring in during the latter years of Obama presidency, which when the annual turkey pardoning became fertile ground for embarrassingly the now teenage Malia and Sasha, that's Obama's children. And what better way to do that than with some corny puns about the turkeys that were named Mac and Cheese? Ain't that something? So dad jokes were now official, and so I'm reminiscing a little bit this morning about my own dad, and of course my mother too. I miss them so much. They've been gone over a decade each. And my cousin Dave was comforting me about soon after the death of my father. And he lost his father some years before that, and he said, Buster, he still called me Buster back then. I don't mind that at all. He said, you'll get over your grief and time will pass. He says, but there'll be a time when you'll just get it. You'll say to yourself, God, I just wish I could just have a chat with my dad again. And there's been a lot of times in my life I felt just that way. Man, I wish I could talk this over with my dad. So sometimes I talk out loud to my dad. I know he's not there, but I feel perhaps he's listening, But these are some of the dad jokes that my father perpetrated on me when I was a child, and now I'm going to let you have it with him, all right? And say, hey, Buster, did you hear that big explosion last night? I said, no. He said, well, the wind blew up the street. And they say, hey, what did the elephant say when the crocodile bit off his nose? Well, it won't be long now. And this is one of his favorites. I heard this as a child into my teenage years. This is one of his favorites. He told this over and over and over. He told it to everybody he met. Hey, did you hear about the little moron that ran through the screen door and strained himself? Sigh, groan. This is one my mother got. Now, my mother was ornery. You'd say she's ornery. She is a Christian woman. So instead of saying ornery, you'd have to say she's impish. She was. She said, did you hear about the 20-year-old woman that married the old man, the 90-year-old man? Every night after that, she'd feel old age creeping up on her. If you want an explanation of that, you're not going to get it from me. Do you know why the index finger on the Statue of Liberty is 11 inches long? Well, if it was 12 inches long, it'd be a foot. Here's another one my father used to say. Did you know why the little moron drove his car over the cliff? He wanted to test out his air brakes. And here's one that my dad used to do to almost every little girl in any little church that he'd meet. It was 8, 9, 10 little girls. He says, hey, do your eyes bother you? And she'd look at him kind of sweetly, and they'd say no. He says, well, they bother me, and they'd laugh, and they're kind of cute. And I suppose today, that it'd be a line of about 1,000 children lined up with the Me Too movement, because that's just not politically correct to say anything like that. But it was awful cute back then. And the children just loved him, and they flocked around him like a flock of chicks would flock around the mother hen. They just children just loved my dad because they knew that he loved them. And those are some of the dad jokes that he got away with, and I got away with a few myself. And there was a lady in one of my Uber cars, says, "Oh, you remind me so much of my father." And I know exactly what that is because I've been to college, and I've got I got some alphabet soup after my name. I got J.R., B.A., and M.A. J.R. means I'm son of my father. M.A., or B.A., that's something a sheep makes a noise of. And M.A., that's what a boy calls when he wants something from his mother, So I knew that when she said that, you remind me of my father, that's just psychological projection, and I know how to handle that sort of thing, So those are dad jokes, and that's the end of my story this morning. I'll see you again some other day. All right, you have a wonderful day, and God bless you.